And I see that Lynne McTaggart has joined us from England. So we're really excited to have you with us, Lynne. I'm going to bring you on here. And welcome to Sacred Sundays. We're really happy to have you with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be here and to be launching what I hope is going to be an amazing initiative for bringing people together, people who have been polarized in every direction, whether it is the police and Black Lives Matter proponents, whether it is Republicans and Democrats, whether it is far left and far right. The whole point is that we do have, as you said, we've got to have these conversations, and we've got to start looking at reaching across the aisle. So what I'm going to talk about today and actually show you is a fast track to reaching across. And it really has to do with essentially getting together with what is secular prayer. And so I'm going to share with you some of what I've been doing. Let me just share my screen.
Sure.
And I think I can do that. And share
you have permission, so it's all good.
Okay,
there we go.
Okie doke. And so I want to talk to you about a little project that I've been doing since 2007. It's called the Intention Experiment. And what I wanted to do was see whether or not our thoughts are powerful enough to affect physical matter. And also if our thoughts get supersized when we do it together in a group. So I started working with scientists around the world who are involved in consciousness research and had them set up a series of well-controlled experiments. And then I would invite my audience or my internet audience or an actual audience, if I had an audience, I was in front of an audience, to send an intention to this well-controlled target. So far we've run 35 of these experiments, and I wasn't even sure they were going to work. But we've done everything from trying to make seeds grow faster, to purifying water with our thoughts, to lowering violence in war-torn areas, to trying to heal someone of post-traumatic stress disorder. So of those 35, 31 have shown measurable, positive, mostly significant effects. But I want to show you why that's not the point of the story. So one of the ones that I ran, you'll see right here, was called the Healing America Peace Intention Experiment. And for this, we decided to choose the most violent place in America that we would send healing intention to. And there it is, St. Louis, Missouri, officially noted as the most violent place in America. So we sent intention to the most violent portion of the most violent place in America, which is an area called Fairground. Now, Fairground luckily, the St. Louis police keep very, very good records. So I worked with a University of California professor of statistics to work out if we had any kind of effect. And here's what happened. 6 months after our experiment, we looked at stats before and afterward. We compared them with Fairground and also all of St. Louis, and we found that St. Louis violent crime continued to go up. St. Louis property crime continued to go up. Fairground property crime continued to go up, but Fairground violent crime went down by 43%. Very interesting. Not the point of my story. Something else happens, something really remarkable. After St. Louis, I survey participants all the time to find out what sort of thing happened to them. How did that work? And how did it work? And also, did anything else change in their lives? And so some of the participants said things like this. One participant said, it's healing with the relationship between all of us, my mother and her daughters. So one daughter talked about her whole family reuniting. Someone else said, my father called out of the blue and apologized for disowning me. Things smoothed out unexpectedly with my difficult new boss. It's night and day now. My estranged son has suddenly more time for me, calls me and comes to see me after 20 years. I get thousands of these kinds of, uh, of comments in these surveys where their own lives, the participants' own lives, have been healed. So the same thing happened when we tried to heal someone of PTSD. That is Gulf War veteran Todd Voss, who had such bad PTSD that he would have to walk into a room and put his back against the wall and survey everything. He was hyper vigilant. So we sent an intention for him to heal. And not only did Todd never have to go back for treatment after that, not only did he travel, something he couldn't have done before, and he met the love of his life. He now has a child. You know, he is, to all intents and purposes, fine. But things happened with my participants too. So here's what happened. We sent intention to heal someone. People had a mirror effect, and they also had healings. We had someone saying their pain in the knee is gone. We had somebody else say that their gut, which was suffering from IBS, felt normal, and sciatic pain, somebody else overcame that. Anxiety and panic attacks and mental issues like that were better. And, you know, hip issues improved, skin conditions improved. People were healing. A mirror effect was happening. The people who sent intention themselves essentially had a rebound effect. So I started looking at this, and for the 10th anniversary, and I worked with Sadiq Greenberg and another team he was working with at the time. We decided to partner on a 10th anniversary intention experiment. And all of us were pretty sick of seeing those buildings come down every anniversary, and decided to provide a different scenario. So I do a lot of speaking around the world, and one person who hosts me in the Middle East is a guy called Dr. Salah Al-Rashid, shown here. He is like the Deepak Chopra of the Middle East. And I asked him to partner with me and get all of his Arab followers to come together with all of my Western followers. And we would do an intention for the 2 southern provinces of Afghanistan, which were the stronghold of the Taliban. You can see it, Helmand and Kandahar. And we sent an intention, and afterward I got hold of statistics from NATO. This is a German general from NATO, saying there was this sudden plummeting of violence, longest sustained downward trend in enemy-initiated attacks recorded by the NATO forces, the combined forces. Not the point of the story, though. Something else happened. I had a Facebook page, and afterward, it was amazing. I started watching the Arabs writing to the Americans writing to the Arabs, befriending each other, sending love to each other, essentially forgiving each other. And that gave me a big idea that I was able to carry out a few years ago. In 2017, November, so just a few years ago, I had the opportunity to work in a studio where we could beam out to 9 or 10 locations. So we put cameras in conference rooms in 8 different Arab cities. And the 9th one we put in an auditorium filled with Israeli Jews. Now, many of us over here in America or in the West probably don't appreciate what happens in the Middle East between Arabs and Jews to a full extent. As some told me afterward, I grew up never meeting a Jew, said one Arab. My parents taught me that they have horns growing out of their heads. And that's the kind of dialogue and scenario that people from these various regions often grow up with. So we decided to bring them all together and send intention to an area of Jerusalem that was suffering from a lot of violence, the Damascus Gate area of Jerusalem. There was a lot of violence there. So we figured, well, Jerusalem belongs to the world. We can bring everybody together. And it was really fascinating because with this intention experiment, the Arabs were very distrustful of the Jews initially, and the Jews were very distrustful of the Arabs. So it was really interesting just trying to bring them together to agree to this experiment, but they did. And I'd like to show you what happened. So this is a little film clip. The auditorium is the group of Israeli Jews, and you'll see because of this amazing studio, I was able to speak to people in those different locations, those 8 different Arab cities, and they were able to speak back to all of us, and the same with the Israelis in the auditorium. So after the intention experiment, I asked them to tell us how they felt. And so here's what happened. So are you ready to begin now, everybody? Our intention is to lower violence and restore peace in the old city of Jerusalem by at least 10% or more. Imagine it with your 5 senses. See people putting down their weapons. See people restoring peace there. See people hugging each other, hugging strangers, reaching across the aisles. Hold those intentions in your mind as you imagine yourself holding the hands of everyone on either side of you. If you're watching on YouTube, imagine you're holding the hands of everybody, all the thousands of people on this call. Can you feel the connection? Are you seeing peace? We have someone from
Amman. This amazing experience. We all here crying at the room, our tears falling down.
Like a big party. I like to have fun, so I feel fun. I feel like I was young again, like I'm in a big party.
Like a commercial that you see on the road, and it was written, the peace is already here. Yes.
Jeddah in Saudi Arabia.
I saw myself there, and I felt very strong love for the Jews, in spite of our raising up to hate the Jews. Beautiful feelings, beautiful images of unity, oneness, love, and peace.
We live in Jerusalem. We know it personally. And I've seen images of hugging, of soldiers and Arab people, of kindness one to another, of flowers all around Damascus Gate. This is so emotional. And I've seen the 4 quarters of the old city as the 4 rooms of my personal heart.
Yes, you're on Abu Dhabi.
Israelis are dancing, the Palestinians, they hug each other, and we are with the Israelis, like we share peace and love, which is an amazing thing. And I want to thank you and everybody participate in this participation.
Tunisia.
Yes, Tunisia. We saw a lot of children running and laughing. And there is a lot of butterflies and wearing a white clothes and running. And there is a loud voice of laughing. You took me to the place I really love. I saw there a sunny day, lots of people laughing, lots of joy and happiness. I wish I could stay there. I wish I didn't come back.
My name is Fatima Salemi, and the peace in Arabic means salam, and my name is Salami. So I feel in peace, I feel in love. I love all people in the whole world. I love you. I love you so much, and I feel full of love and full of peace. Your God is my God. I love you.
My name is Lynne from Jerusalem. It's so overwhelming, the possibility to be connected with you, our sisters in Amman and in Damascus and in Iran and all over. We are thousands, hundreds of thousands of women here saying enough. It's about time to unite. We are one. It's time of compassion.
So we're going to, if they can do it, so can we. So we're going to have a little practice session today. I want to introduce you to a series of heel polarization intention experiments. And I'm going to do that by having you just practice and taste what it's like to be part of an intention experiment. So I want to show you my experimental phrase. So I'm going to put this back on again. Hang on one second. Let me just try that again.
You know, while you're doing that, Lynne, I just want to say we're getting a lot of comments from people, deep tears flowing, really dropping into the beauty of this work, the power of this work. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want them to actually experience this. So let me just share this again. And I want to just talk to you, just give you a little science as to why this is so powerful. Hang on, there you go. So I did some work studying some work at the University of California at Berkeley. And it's with a guy called Dacher Keltner. And he's a psychologist at UC Berkeley. And he did an amazing study that answered it for me. How could these disparate, warring people come together after one intention experiment? And his experiment was to take groups of students at Berkeley and divide them into two. And he showed them pictures, very different pictures. The first group had pictures of the world's victims, starving children, things like that. And the second group were shown pictures designed to elicit pride, you know, pictures of themselves, of Berkeley itself, of the football games they had against their main rivals, Stanford, or, you know, pictures of students like them. So afterward, he showed them all kinds of other kinds of people, very different kind of people. And group one started identifying with people who were not like them, the homeless, prisoners, people, if they were Republicans, Democrats, and vice versa. Whereas group two only identified with the kinds of people they either students or the kinds of people they were going to become, doctors, lawyers, wealthy people. And he was fascinated, and he realized that the key to all of this is the vagus nerve, longest nerve in the body, attaches through all of the organs of your body, and basically is involved when we feel compassion. It helps release oxytocin, which is the love hormone. So in a sense, this is the love nerve. And what he found, and what I've found, is when compassion is elicited and all of this stuff is turned on, the heart also leaps across the fence. And that's what we're doing with an intention experiment. That's why it's so potent to bring groups like this together, because it's a fast track to connection. So I want you to experience this yourself, because when you do this, you do suddenly recognize somebody not like you as a fellow human being. So this is the intention we're going to try. This again is a little taster for you. We're going to be running an intention experiment the weekend before the inauguration, the Sunday, January 17th. And what we're going to do then is put together disparate people. We're going to have some policemen, we're going to have people from Black Lives Matter, we're going to have Republicans, we're going to have Democrats. And the reason we're doing that is to demonstrate that it's this easy for the heart to leap across the fence. Now, I'm putting this picture up with our intention experiment for a reason. This is Patrick Hutchinson. He's the Black guy. When there were protests in the UK, where I live in London, there were some big clashes between Black Lives Matter folk and the alt-right. Now, Patrick Hutchinson is a grandfather, but a personal trainer who went to one of these protests just to make sure that young Black men didn't get in trouble. And in the middle of that, there was this giant skirmish between the two sides. And one of the members of the alt-right movement got knocked to the ground and was about to get his head kicked in. And Patrick scooped him up and in a big fireman's lift, lifted him over his shoulder and got him to safety. So I think he is a brilliant example of the heart leaping across the fence. So I want us to hold the following intention. And because we can't be here in person, I've just put together a little movie that is essentially me running an intention experiment to a live group of people so that you can experience it as though you were holding hands with people, all the people who are on this broadcast. So our intention, this is what I want you to hold, is our intention is for Washington, D.C. and Georgia to be immediately and permanently free of all political and social justice, violent protest and unrest. I'm sure you heard that there was a big bust up between the Proud Boys and the people on the other side in Washington last weekend. So we're sending a little intention for peace in Washington, D.C. and Georgia, particularly in the run-up to those senatorial elections. So our intention is for Washington, D.C. and Georgia to be immediately and permanently free of all political and social justice, violent protest, and unrest. So I want you to hold that as you follow along with me with my instructions. And I've got a little music on this, and you'll see, as though you were in the auditorium, what it feels like to be connected. So let's imagine, as we're doing this, it's just 5 minutes, imagine you are holding hands of 8 other people on this call, on this webcast.
Okay, let's take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Deep inhale, and now on the exhalation, send the intention through from your head, formulate the intention, send it from your head to your heart, and then shoot it out to the recipient. Allow it to just unfurl from your heart like the tendrils of a plant. Recipients, just open up your hearts to receive. Allow the visualizations to come. Allow yourself to feel the unified energy in your group. Imagine you are all one single entity, one single powerful energy, sending healing energy to your recipient.
let go of the intention, trust the process, and in your own time, come back onto the webcast. Connect with the moment and the present. And in the next day or two, just note any changes in your life. Did anything happen as a result of participating? Did you feel anything different? Most of the participants write in that they feel a lot of bodily sensations. They feel a lot of changes in their mental state, emotional state. They feel like essentially they're in a mystical state, but also notice if anything has changed in your life. And that is our practice session for the Big Kahuna, which is going to be on January 17th. So note this down, please. If you would like to take part in this, remember you are part of the research. I have a scientist, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who is going to be measuring any changes. He's got specialized equipment. We'll be also looking at whether or not we affect the target. I'm not going to reveal the full target yet to you because I don't want you to be thinking about it ahead of time. But if you can write down this URL, it's quite a complicated one, but it's news.landing/landing/heal-polarization-intention-experiment. And if that's too complicated, just come onto my website and sign up and you'll get information about it. We'll give you all the information about how to take part. But this one is going to be an extraordinarily powerful one because we're going to bring all the warring tribes together and let them connect together with the intention experiment and see what happens. So again, if you can write down this URL, news.linmctaggart.com/landing/heal-polarization-intention-experiment. It's also on the front page of the earthwalkunited.org page. So you can just click and you'll go straight onto my page to sign up and we'll give you more information there. And remember, afterward, we're taking your information so we can survey you to find out if your life has changed as a result. So I'll be sending you that survey after January 17th. Let us know if anything has changed in your life. And if that's all too complicated, it's just LynneMcTaggart.com. LynneMcTaggart.com. So I'm going to stop that share and just say, I hope that was a really great experience for you. It's been wonderful being with you. And I really look forward to seeing what happens when we bring all of these different parties together. We know, I know from the work that I've seen before, that even the greatest enemies can come together in peace.
Thank you so much, Lynne, for the incredible work you're doing, for coming on to our show this morning. And I'm noticing a lot of beautiful comments, and we definitely will continue to follow through with you. Thank you very, very much for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be here, everybody. Thanks to everyone who's organized this.
Okay, take care. Sadiq, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, that invisible wall again. I just wanted to also offer a special thanks to Lynne as well. She knows this, that we've talked about this in the past, but the Middle East is actually where my days as a peace tender began. When I lived in the West Bank and saw the bloodshed and saw the strife that was there. And so I just want to say thank you again, Lynne, for the beautiful work that you're doing in that realm and all the other realms as you just shared. It touched my heart really deeply. And as I wrote into the thread as that was happening, deep tears and deep gratitude.
Beautiful.